Transylvania. Having made the journey from Bucharest, Zamir and I find ourselves high in the Carpathians, the very name somehow threatening. My increasingly unhinged Russian friend has convinced himself that he's going to close a deal on buying Castle Dracula. Even more strange and cheeseball, it's Halloween. Ooh.
But I made an arrangement with the local people to give us a tour, and the price tag is more than 100 million US.
100 million US? The place looks a little run down, frankly. This is a fixer-upper.
You must be kidding me.
No.
Okay, so...
All right, let's go see the estate agent.
Let's go and see it.
So, here's how it goes. We just tell them we ran out of gas and
maybe, you know, ask for shelter.
Yeah, I think the chances of getting butt-rogered by Tim Curry are minimal. Trick or treat.
Would you try that? Hello, trick or treat, it's Halloween. No sweets, yeah?
Maybe we should just toilet paper this joint, throw a couple of eggs, and move on to the Marriott. But no, Mr. Real Estate Mogul wants to tour the property.
You ever have any fat people lodged in here?
Oh, yeah.
You just smear a little butter on them before you send them up.
Matea here will be trying to point out the advantages of castle life.
It was for 500 years a small fortress meant to survive the past and to collect the tax, and then it became what we visit actually today.
Bran Castle has quite a history. It is the fabled home of Vlad Dracula and a former royal residence until appropriated by the commies.
Wow, that's the formal living room, right? May I ask a silly question? Is furniture part of the price tag for the castle?
Well, I guess so.
So furnished.
It's furnished. Okay.
If you detect disappointment in my voice, it's because this sort of castle tour scene is about as interesting to me as poking a dead squirrel with a stick.
Fascinating view, Tony. Have a look.
No, they could put a little bar up here, some lounge chairs.
Like a deck, you know.
What we see down there, it's the line of the border, 15th century. And this side is Transylvania, where we are.
Back in Vlad's time, you would have a fair amount of people on stakes out there to kind of discourage the neighbors.
Sort of, don't mess
Coming
with us.
on over.
Okay.
They wrote about him like he used to cut them in pieces and drink blood, but those are not necessarily true stories.
Yeah, I have to tell you, some of the accounts that I've been reading, they're a little, I mean, how did he find the time? I'm sure he threw somebody on a stake now and again, but making people eat their mother's breasts and chopping people up and boiling gypsies and, you know, they're transparently unbelievable or wildly exaggerated, I think clearly.
I know they are the German stories, which present him like you said, and the Romanian stories. Of course, we'll make him look like a national hero.
Right.
I have to admit he was a little bit, you know, cruel.
So we agree his methods were a bit harsh, but he did protect his land from hordes of invaders.
Now, Vlad Dracula III is the character that Bram Stoker used his nickname and to create Count Dracula 300 years later. Vlad, as a real historical character, it seems like he was locked for 2 weeks in the castle prison. It's at the first floor, and that's the only connection to Dracula Castle.
Wait a minute, this wasn't even his castle?
No.
Dracula didn't even freaking live here. It's a sham, baby. He stayed here, maybe. Asking price going way down.
So, Zamir, why are you bringing me to a graveyard?
Well, it's very special. It's once in the world. It's called Funny Cemetery, Pensa Place.
Funny?
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, Zamir is confused again. It's called Merry Cemetery, and one unusual feature is immediately apparent. The highlights or lowlights, and even the circumstances of the deceased's moment of passing are carved on their tombstone.
This is the place which has no reservations, as you could see.
I'm a little uncomfortable mocking the dead.
No?
Yeah.
De mormânt s-a lucrat de Ion Stan Pătrat.
So you are here at the Mary Cemetery, which was founded in 1935.
Known by the villagers of Sapudsta as the Master, Dumitru is a true poet of death.
Zice așa, de la 14 ani trebuia să câștig bani.
You should listen carefully, good people. What I say, there is no lie.
He alone tallies up their successes and failures, deciding upon and then hand-carving their images and epitaphs.
From my childhood, I always loved my horses, and I really liked some other guy's wife. And now I miss the world because too fast I had to go. It's Mary Cemetery because everybody had a vice, something
A vice?
in his life.
You're gonna need an extra large headstone, my friend.
Well,
You do not want to let Dumitru see you helping a sheep through the fence, as it were, or your headstone might make comedy gold.
So there's a comic text there that says that Tsuika and cigarettes brought me death beneath my feet.
wow.
A unique perspective on life and death, to say the least. Maramureș. In few other places in Europe, it would appear, do the traditional ways of the past persist so strongly. Here, there are more licensed horse carts than automobiles. Really? The dacha has broken down. Perfect. Zamir tries all the usual fixes. Hey, I don't care if it's his birthday. He bought this damn buggy.
Wow. Wow.
The back injury was not something we planned on, however. Now, that's not funny. Or is it?
Bună ziua. Wow.
Thankfully, hitching a ride in Romania seems a safe and acceptable means of alternate transport.
Now I got what the meaning of you're smelling the barn really means. I do smell something.
Horse crap?
Yeah. Well, Tony, I want to introduce you to a very romantic character. It's Victor the Butcher.
Will there be pork involved?
There'll be a lot of pork involved.
How's this the suspension for your back?
Suspension is not the smoothest, but I think dacha might have given us a better experience. So I might need the painkiller earlier than I thought.
Zamir's 50th is not starting out as planned. We're not kidding, by the way. The guy really screwed up his back in the cause of television.
What next, my friend?
Powerful narcotics.
Okay, maybe a tuika? Tuika? Good? Okay.
We're dropped off at Victor's front gate.
No more comunismo. No mai comunism. No mai Ceausescu. Finita.
Meet Victor, the local butcher. We're greeted warmly by the family and offered some artisanal tuika, probably distilled back in the barn.
Noroc. Na zdrowie.
Cheers.
Perfect anesthetic for my injured co-star. At least, he seems to think so.
Natural painkiller. I love it.
And as happens often on this show, a lovely pastoral setting in a charming valley quickly becomes a gore-soaked slaughterhouse.
I think we know what happens next. We get all squeaky foam on that piggy's ass.
Spiraling quickly out of control as Zamir starts hitting the sauce like it's mother's milk.
Am I gonna survive the 50th anniversary? That's the question now.
Wow!
I don't know, which is more disturbing, the dead pig or Zamir's muffled cries of pain. Yes, one for the spirits and... I feel your pain, Zamir, I really do.